Welcome to January 2020 edition of Outlook Video, your nationally recognized award-winning program for gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender communities. I'm Shay Franco-Clausen.
And I'm Raymond Donald Hong. This month, we continue our coverage of HIV/AIDS prevention and treatment. The 31st annual World AIDS Day took place on December 1, and it's an opportunity for people worldwide to unite in the fight against HIV, to show support for the estimated 36.7 million people living with HIV, and to honor the more than 35 million who have died from an AIDS-related illness. Eric Chong and Gabrielle Antalovich will bring us to the Silicon Valley World AIDS Day event at the Children's Discovery Museum later this half hour.
The Crane Center in Santa Clara County offers free HIV and hepatitis C testing. Roberta Gonzalez-Gregg chatted with 3 representatives from Crane Center about their free testing services at Silicon Valley Pride later in the program.
Kim Lawson was at the gay rainbow flag raising at the El Mirador Tower building in Palm Springs, marking the beginning of 2019 Palm Springs Pride. Hey, I was there 14 years ago.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, it was the tallest building I could find in that flat desert. We'll be seeing more from that event in this month's program.
Kim Lawson also brings us his coverage of the 2019 Desert AIDS Walk in Palm Springs. The Grand Marshal for the AIDS Walk was Hank Plant, retired reporter from KPIX in San Francisco, but now out of retirement at KMIR in Palm Springs. We'll have more from Palm Springs, but first, World AIDS Day in Silicon Valley.
We are the hope, we are the healing, we are the unity, we are the peace.
It's not by chance that Children's Discovery Museum is hosting today's World AIDS Day commemoration, because this year's theme is Communities Make the Difference. And I am very privileged to be working in a community with visionaries like Gabrielle Antalovich, who invited our museum to participate in. And that what we try to do is help children envision a world that they want to be part of, and encourage them to develop the skills they will need to invent it: curiosity, creativity, and the ability to appreciate differences rather than fear them.
When we care about our entire community, when we remove bias from the way we do our jobs, we do it so much better. And when you look at the AIDS crisis in our country, it's such an example of there being enormous bias in our public systems that people opted not to help. Like some people in our country made a conscious decision not to help. And so today is a reminder that through the leadership of many here and many, many more, that this is an opportunity for us to rededicate ourselves to thinking about bias in systems so that we don't let other communities suffer the way so many of us suffer through this crisis. So that's the first thing I wanted to say. The second thing I wanted to say is how advanced, once people did get their act together, just what a difference that it makes. And I want to talk just for a minute about Santa Clara County.
Today we ponder 40 years of progress, from the deadly world epidemic viewed with ignorance, fear, and stigma, to Brian White's national advocacy in the CARE Act helping victims, to our own Santa Clara County HIV Commission, focusing our local resources on prevention and care. First, Brian White. For 3 decades, his mom Jeannie told the story, keeping him alive for all of us. I had the pleasure of seeing her this past summer at De Anza College. Just like the AIDS quilt, she weaves his picture so we will know who he is. A simple routine blood transfusion that changed their world. A brave young man who inspired action in the search for a cure.
Men are dying everywhere with no one to care. But we know if we believe
things that the State Office of AIDS is now doing is trying to come up with a definition for long-term survivor. It will be interesting to see where that goes. But we all are long-term survivors. No matter when we were diagnosed and how long we live with it, we are survivors. And I just want to champion the survivor in every one of us that are living with disease. And the survivors are also include those who have served us and who have helped us along the way, provided our medical care, provided our community support and support in living that is supported by the Runaway Care Act. We have maybe a small number in this community, but we have people who help us, who are there for us when we have needs. And we're all doing this together.
I'm blessed to be working with a wonderful group of people at PACE that are dedicated, compassionate caregivers of all faculties, doctors, nurses, mental health, nutrition, benefits. Some of these people have been at PACE for many years. And I've realized that this has kind of become my mission in life. Today, we have approximately 3,400 HIV positive people in Santa Clara County. Of those, I see about 1,400 of them at PACE. We still have a lot of youngsters coming in, newly diagnosed. I make it a point to get to sit down and talk with them. And let them know that they're lucky, and luck isn't getting what you want, it's surviving what you don't want. That we have these awesome new medications, and we're continuing progress with them all the time, where we can knock that viral load down to nothing in very little time, and they're going to be okay as long as they take that medication every single day. It's very comforting for them.
They saw the opportunity to make sure that we sustain services for people living with HIV/AIDS and expanded services for people living with HIV/AIDS. And I'm really proud of the team that we have at the Health Trust. Today we are providing an array of case management services, from medication management to healthcare coordination to going to appointments with clients to helping people enroll in services and benefits. We also continue to operate the Jerry Larson Food Basket at Ray Street and make sure that people get access to healthy, free produce, fresh vegetables, fresh proteins to sustain their health. And we have continued to provide housing subsidies for people living with HIV/AIDS, and thanks to our incredible visionary friend Cindy Chavez and the Board of Supervisors, we have more recently started to provide support services for people living with HIV/AIDS who are transitioning out of correctional facilities back into the community.
Once everybody is linked to care and retained in care with the currently available treatments, life expectancy is close to a negative patient's life expectancy. I tell my patients, I'm like, the likelihood of me dying from diabetes or coronary artery disease is the same as you. And they were like, yeah. And I said, the likelihood of you dying from HIV is probably the same as me dying from a car accident outside. I work at the PACE clinic and I'm very happy and proud to do so. We have a detention of 81% and 92% of our folks are virally suppressed, which is since U equals U, so they are non-transmissible. And in Santa Clara County, the new diagnosis per year has dropped down from 350 in 1987 to 150 in 2017. So that's a good drop. But that means, and also that means that number of deaths has declined from more than 200 to less than 10 per year, which is great. But that means the number of people who are living with it are going to keep increasing. So 3,500 people are currently living in the county who need the help, and the number is probably going to expand, at least for the time being. The third point is that the ones who are at high risk, with the currently available evidence-based prevention, PrEP, it should not be a problem. If everybody who needs PrEP gets on PrEP, then we are going to have nobody, negative staying negative, then we're not going to have any new infections. So I think we really need to embrace that.
What the Billy DeFrank Center has decided, this is what we're going to do. We are going to bring back the AIDS Grove, and we are bringing it back in a beautiful manner that goes with the Children's Discovery Museum in the look and ambiance. So what I want to do, Gordon, is bring back a place for you to have your lover's name. And we have found a designer who listened to all of us yapping away about what we wanted. And he came up with an initial design.
I am your friend, like a whisper on the wind. Oh, and like an angel on my shoulder. Oh, and like a candle in the window.
This year for World AIDS Day, we did have pieces of the quilt at San Jose City Hall in the Rotunda. And it's always been a moving experience. I was one of the people that actually went to Washington, D.C. in 1987, the big march on Washington, and they laid out all of the quilts out on the green. And as we walked around, it was the most beautiful experience and yet the most painful experience. And so whenever I see even one panel of the quilt, I remember 1987, when we realized how many people died from AIDS. And the quilt is a wonderful way to remember. And I want to personally thank Nicole Altamirano, who actually has brought the quilt to San Jose every year. So thank you for doing that and keeping the memory of those wonderful people alive.
Hi, I'm Katie Lowe's, and you're watching Outlook Video.
Ladies, thank you very much for offering your time. But please, can you tell me first, I'm going to ask each of you a question. And the first question I'm going to ask is, what is it specifically, what services do you offer the community?
The Queen Center, we offer free HIV testing for every client that comes into our clinic. It's free Monday through Friday. Then we have our STD clinic, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. That is $40.
Okay, but today you're having this clinic here, and I see many people signing up. Today there's no cost, is that correct?
That's correct. Today is free for anybody that wants an HIV test. It's free every day at the Crane Center. Today, STD testing is free as well. Tomorrow, if they come to the Crane Center, it's $40.
Okay, and you get a variety of, you get people from all over the community or for people from the LGBTQ community?
No, it's actually all over. It's not just the LGBT. You know, I mean, even the students come in to get tested at the Crane Center.
Okay, and where is the center located, please?
I'm sorry, location? Yes. It's here, let me see. 976 Lansing Avenue. It's a Crane Center.
Okay, very, very good. And how long has the center been operating?
They have been at our current location since 2000. They used to be previously at the Bascom, 650 Bascom Avenue. So it's been operating for quite a while.
And about how many people do you see per week?
That would be me. Usually we see like 20, 25 people, depending on the day. There's days that we have 10, there's days that we have 5. It just depends on the flow of the clinic.
And then is counseling offered afterwards?
Yes. That's part of the HIV testing. So the counselor will take them into a counseling room and they'll talk to them about the risk. They'll do a risk assessment, and then they'll do the test. So it's about 20 minutes total.
Okay. And as an investigator, what do you investigate? Tell us what you investigate.
You know, actually, I used to work for the Crane Center. I'm now CDI for TB control. So I am volunteering my time with the Crane. I've always been like a part of the family. So, yeah, so we do investigate diseases, syphilis, gonorrhea, chlamydia, and we also do the testing for Hep C and as well as HIV.
And you, miss, may I take your time? May I ask your name, please?
Sure, my name's Janelle.
And Janelle, you're here today for some testing?
Yes.
And so is this something that you decided on spur of the moment, or you've been thinking about it?
Oh yeah, it was spur of the moment. I'm constantly, I'm pretty cautious, like, you know, with any diseases or anything, and it just worked out perfectly. I'm walking by and they said free testing. I'm like, sure.
Okay, this is very good. Well, that's good. A good step towards your physical health.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it something that you like to be in charge of?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's important for myself and also as well for our community. You know, having this here, I mean, for everybody, because it's not always easy for people to get to clinics. And I mean, this was huge. I was blown away to see that they're here actually. And I wish these services are provided more and they're more accessible to people, or maybe advertised more so people know. So
Very
that's
good.
Out here and that they're here.
Excellent. Well, thank you, ladies. Thank you, all of you, for giving me your time and your information. Thank you so much for what you do in the community. Thank you.
We love to get mail from you. Email us at comments@outlookvideo.org.
To contact us by phone, call 408-293-3040, extension 205.
Visit our website at outlookvideo.org.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/outlookvideo.
And connect with us at facebook.com/outlookvideo.
Pride Week and help kick off this event and all of the events subsequent to today with the official flag unfurling off the Sturgis Tower. So at this time, I would like to introduce Rhonda Hart with Palm Springs Pride. You know him well. Again, Desert Regional, so many things that we encompass in this community from a Pride standpoint, whether it be Equality California, all of the nonprofit organizations, the center. We're intimately involved in the parade, and we'll be out there in force this weekend, the George Sander Vigil, the Caesar Chavez breakfast coming up, hopefully, and the Harvey Milk breakfast. This is part of who we serve and who we are, and we're just thrilled to be able to don the amazing rainbow flag from the tower so that the entire community can take pride and respect in all that we do for everybody. So, Ron? Yes?
Thank you all for being here, and a huge round of applause to Desert Care Network, who's been a tremendous supporter of Pride in Palm Springs for many years, and the City of Palm Springs, who is with us this morning for the unfurling. You know, this is an iconic flag being unfurled for the entire city to see, and visitors that come into the city on such an iconic structure here in Palm Springs. So we welcome you all. This is the beginning of a very long weekend, one of 36 official events that happens this weekend associated with the Pride organization. 140,000 people expected to be in town attending all of these events. So we welcome you to the unfurling, and we welcome you and invite you back to the festival and parade that will happen on Palm Canyon Drive starting tonight or tomorrow night at 6 p.m. on Palm Canyon. And now to present the proclamation, the Mayor of Palm Springs, Robert Boone.
Thank you. And Councilmember Middleton here, and Mayor Pro Tem Coors, and Councilmember J.R. Roberts here with me to recognize this great event. And one thing I'd like to really comment on is, you know, this has become, I think, the second largest pride in California.
Largest south of San Francisco free pride.
And besides this amazing community that has put all this together and all the people who volunteer and work, I think we owe a special thank you to Rhonda Hart, because he is the most amazing manager I've ever seen at these jobs. He does an incredible job. No detail ever falls through the cracks. So I'd like to read, this is a very long proclamation, so if you all sit down, have a seat. Now I'm just going to read the last two paragraphs because I think that sort of summarizes it. First, whereas we stand in solidarity through pride around the world, we give a voice to the power of self-expression, inclusiveness, and love. Now, therefore, the City Council of the City of Palm Springs, California does hereby recognize the many civic contributions of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community in Palm Springs, California, and encourage all people to share in the pride of our city's diverse citizenry by participating in the 33rd Annual Palm Springs Pride Celebration. Be it further resolved that November 1st through 3rd, 2019, in our fair city of Palm Springs, it is hereby proclaimed to be Palm Springs Pride Week, signed by the members of the City Council.
Okay, so this is the fun part. We get to do a countdown together, and so we want to focus our attention up on our
3, 2, 1.
Come on, clown!
This is the 4th year for the unfurling of the flag,
Yes.
which I just discovered. What is your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm a relatively new resident to the desert, so this is only my 2nd year here in the desert. And I have to tell you, I've lived in some really large cities in my life, and coming to Palm Springs and the sense of pride and community that we have, I think frankly is second to none. And personally, it's really wonderful to work at the Desert Care Network, where we will unfurl this amazing flag that you see in the background as our commitment to the community. It's pretty special to me.
And for me, we are a community valley-wide that embraces all walks of life. And this is just another way for the Desert Care Network team to show how we support the community we serve, the community we employ, the physicians we partner with. And it's a way that everybody that comes to our community, whether it's for the weekend or that lives here or in other cities, that they can see in Palm Springs that we're celebrating diversity.
We clearly like to have fun, right? I mean,
yes,
obviously.
This is not our normal outfit, but it's great when an event like this also coincides with Halloween. So the entire administrative team is sporting Toy Story attire.
Humming, enjoying, yes, pleasant face, right? Unfurled brow. And then easy, shake it out. Easy, inhale, lift up.
That. Thank you so much, Urban Yoga. We're going to shout out some people real quick.
And if anyone thinks yoga isn't a workout, I am sweating.
You are not. You're so
I am.
dramatic. She does yoga like 4 times a week.
Thank you, Sim. Great.
Susan Stein's in the building. Ethelina Can is here. Obviously, Stephen Hankey. We've got some big local names here. And obviously, Thalia Hayden. That's sweet of you. Very sweet of you. Again, instant impact, you guys. Grab those phones. Desert AIDS Walk 2019. We're going to hashtag that at DAP Community.
Right.
I know, we know. We're going to get there, guys. All right, so next up, we have to invite somebody up who's an ally of ours and a big name here in the Valley. You know his name. We got some politicians here. A big, warm round of applause for Mr. Chad Mays, everybody.
Good morning, Palm Springs. Well, it is so good to be here with you, and it's so good to see the number of people here today. It is good to know that you love your community, that you love your neighbor. And I was thinking of telling a story, but I realized we do not have enough time. But what we do know today is that AIDS no longer means that you're going to die. And that is amazing. I think now we've got to do some more education, because there's a lot of healthcare providers that don't know what's there to be able to provide care for folks. So I want to thank you for coming out, loving your fellow man. I want to thank you for coming out and supporting the Desert AIDS Project. Good morning and have a good walk.
2, 3. Let's walk. Let's walk.
And that's a wrap for this month's edition of Outlook Video. You can watch extended versions of our segments and archive past programs on Outlook Video's YouTube channel at youtube.com/Outlook Video. Be sure to click on the subscribe button and click on the bell for notifications of our latest videos.
Also friend us on Facebook at facebook.com/Outlook Video. Outlook Video is made possible by generous donations from viewers like you and talented volunteers behind the camera whose names you'll see as we close. And if you live in the Bay Area and would like to volunteer, contact us through our Facebook page. We close this program with Palm Springs AIDS Walk. From all of us here at Outlook Video, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next month.
Bye for now.
Don't split at the pole now.